Good evening and thank you for joining us. Forest fires caused major disruptions on the region's highways today. That included a full closure of Highway 17 between Chappaqua Road and Ignace, though the stretch is once again open to the public. It was due to a fire discovered burning just 2 kilometers east of Chappaqua Road that has since been called out. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry's most recent report notes 2 fires are still active in the region, including one 20 kilometers west of Ignace, considered not under control. Here in Thunder Bay now, where the city kept up its title as the martial arts capital of Canada this weekend as it hosted the annual Martial Arts and Health Expo. Attendees were able to learn from experienced instructors and professionals and connect with like-minded individuals. Jessica Clement has more.
Seisan kata, bow staff training, and judo were just some of the things attendees were able to learn this weekend at the Lakehead University's Avila Center. The annual Martial Arts and Health Expo had a packed schedule featuring over 30 specialized workshops, demonstrations, and discussions by instructors and professionals for various martial arts backgrounds.
Circle, circle.
Coordinator Susan Baldassi says the expo not only helps individuals achieve their martial arts and health goals, but allows them to build strong connections with others who are attending.
With the various social and cultural events that we've weaved into our weekend, we had a fire pit following our banquet. We're going on a bus tour today to some local sites once we finish the sessions, and followed by some socializing at on the links and fun. It's about, promoting movement and health, and also the connections and friendships.
The event welcomed over 100 attendees with varying skill levels, with many of them coming in from outside Thunder Bay. This includes Matt Morin and Michelle O'Leary, who are from Ottawa.
What I like is that it brings a lot of different people together, people that maybe otherwise would never be friends or get to know each other. So it's a very diverse group. We come from all different places and then share experience.
For me, primarily is community, in the sense of community, which is, I think, a foundational part of martial arts training, right? So, because it's handed down from someone who's learned before you, and just having access to all of these different practitioners, right, broadens my skills and then allows me to also pass it on.
Once it's set into his palm.
And for those who want to try out martial arts, Baldassi says there are more than just health benefits.
Really helps you to develop as a person. There's so many aspects to it beyond the physical. The physical can help you with your overall health, but it's also being in partnership with someone, doing partner work and supporting each other in the goals, and just the connections that we make are just as important.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
In celebration of National Elizabeth Fry Week, the E-Fry Society of Northwestern Ontario recently hosted their annual fundraiser. All money raised will be used for transitional housing and supports for women and gender diverse individuals who have been involved in the criminal justice system. The event was held at the Roots Community Food Centre and included live music, a 50-50 draw, and a penny auction. The E-Fry Society is a grassroots nonprofit organization located here in Thunder Bay. Executive Director Lindsay Martin says their transitional housing program requires a lot of support to maintain. She spoke about the importance of bringing more awareness to the incarceration and its effects on these women. The event's theme was Abolition in Action, and Martin explained more about that concept.
We're really trying to break down systems and dismantle them. This week, it's Abolition in Action. Abolition is a really huge concept to digest, but if you really break it down, it's very simple. It's about building community, and building community is really essential, because when community is really healthy, there is no need for these systems that are broken. So we're trying to avoid those things like hospitals, mental health institutions, and particularly incarceration.
Donations can be made to the E-Fry Society to help them reach their annual goal of $40,000. Martin says they also have a very healthy volunteer program where people from the community offering support in both the correctional facility and transitional houses. Some Indigenous students are now better equipped in their educations. Nokiwan Tribal Council is one of several recipients of refurbished laptops, ensuring more people can access services. The laptops were collected by Rotary clubs in Southern Ontario and will be given to students in Nokiwan's education program. The equipment was refurbished by Siemens Energy Canada, with the initiative created by the charity Corporations for Community Connections. Audrey Gilbo with No Kiwin says these laptops will go a long way.
Having equipment that's really functioning is one thing. Having the equipment that's going to be able to potentially help to elevate someone's opportunities as they start to look to engage within not only education but to employment as well.
In today's world, with today's education requirements, it's virtually impossible for a student to totally succeed, to go through public school and into post-secondary education without having a laptop to be able to access resources, do assignments.
A spay-neuter clinic was held in Webequie earlier this month for the first time since 2016. It was part of an animal services pilot project launched this year by Matawa. Lee Noonan has more.
Matawa brought Dr. Patricia Lecton, a veterinarian from Southern Ontario, up to Webequie First Nation as part of their animal services pilot project. It's been 6 years since any veterinary services have been provided in the community, and Councillor Harry Wabas says it was much needed to control the dog population. Over the course of 4 days, they saw most of the community's pets. They spayed and neutered 59 animals, gave 188 vaccines, and conducted 97 wellness exams.
It shows that, there's a lot of people that really care about their pets in the community,
Webequie is the first Matawa community to host the clinic, and there are plans to bring veterinary service to 6 more communities that don't have regular access. All Matawa First Nations have also hired animal guardians who will be trained to work with online veterinarians to give rudimentary first aid, basic vaccines, and medications. Bertha Ashpenaquescom loves that she can help other pet owners and take care of her own 5 dogs.
It helps me with my mental health and as well for my kids too.
The program recognizes that colonization disrupted the relationships between people and dogs, and it aims to help restore those relationships.
When you look at their historical connection to the dog themselves, we basically treated them like family before, and we fed them just like we treat ourselves.
Matawa's Animal Services Coordinator, Judy Cannon, says all levels of government need to acknowledge that there's a lack of animal services for First Nations.
There is an inequality that Indigenous communities are facing right across the province. We really need to bridge that gap with veterinarian care and support, and also programs on how to keep animals and people safe and healthy in the One Health model, where animals are healthy, peoples are healthy, environment is healthy, and recognizing that relationship is critical.
Cannon is advocating with the government to improve First Nation access to animal services and wants to see Indigenous people included in Bill 171, the Veterinarian Professionals Act, which is currently before Parliament. The pilot program will run until the end of March 2025. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
A Fort Frances councillor resigned this week after an Integrity Commissioner's report found multiple violations of the town's code of conduct. Councillor David Kircher formally resigned 1 day after the Integrity Commissioner's report to council on Monday. He was sanctioned on 5 counts: disrespecting fellow councillors, conducting council business outside proper channels, harassing staff, interfering with an independent body, and mishandling confidential information. Integrity Commissioner David Bogosian recommended a 55-day suspension without pay.
Is that a high penalty? It's relatively speaking high. It's the highest I've personally given out. The highest before was 40 days. But I think it's fully justified. And in fact, if anything, I would have gone higher.
Everything that I have done and for which I've been criticized is motivated by my concerns for the town and my desire to ensure that council is always acting in the best interests of the town and its citizens.
Kircher walked out of the meeting, saying he was disappointed with the report and strongly disagrees with its findings and recommendations. Bogosian had also recommended a number of other penalties, including requiring Kircher make a public apology to Councillor John McTaggart for attacks on his reputation. Marathon's Pebble Beach opened its shores to visitors earlier this month with a grand opening celebration. The event included members of council, Mayor Rick Dumas, and representatives from Biktagong Nishnabeg. The $1.35 million redesign of the beach saw improvements to make the area more accessible. The project also included paving the parking lot and building a boardwalk and a lookout point. The work was originally slated to be completed last November. Mayor Rick Dumas says despite the delays and some work that still needs to be done, he's happy with how far the project has come.
There was some critical messages sent to council about how we were delaying it. And we weren't delaying it. It was a supply chain, and we're still coming out of the COVID. And I hate to blame it on post-COVID, but the reality is it's still there. And so now we're open so the community can enjoy it. So I'm really happy and pleased.
Dumas says not everyone was on board with the changes, but he's sure the upgrades will only bring good to the community. He adds that the township is in the process of applying to the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund and FedNor for additional money for a new playground and the creation of a 10 or 12 site campground, which was part of the original vision for the new Pebble Beach. And we're now joined by sports anchor Nev Van Pelt. Welcome aboard. What's going on, Nev? And of course, it's that time of year where in Thunder Bay, it's soccer season, chill in exhibition action today.
Yeah, and what a day it was for it.
Beautiful for it.
Outside, but we'll have the highlights for you after the break.